1. When darkness was overcome on the third day, the Creator continued his work, bringing forth the immense continents that were still beneath the surface of the waters. With raised hands he ordered, "Join the waters under the heavens in one place, and the dry portion appears." In prompt obedience, the crystalline waters gave their superior position to the dry portion that rose, overlapping them. In the lower regions of the earth, the waters would continue to reflect the heavenly glow, being a snack for thirsty creatures. In that gesture of humility, the waters foreshadowed the Creator, who in the great struggle had descended into the deepest abyss to make eternal life reborn in thirsty souls. To contemplating the face of that new world, the Eternal called the dry part earth, and the gathering of the waters he called seas. In his powerful voice he continued, ordering, "Produce the earth green grass, grass that gives seed, fruitful trees that bear fruit according to its species, whose seed is in it on the earth." In obedience to the divine command, the solid surface of the planet was covered with all kinds of vegetation. Beautiful meadows to bloom, green fields crisscrossed by crystalline rivers, endless forests where leafy trees allowed to hang tasty fruits of countless species. The earth was like a cloth where the Creator, by the power of his word, colored pictures of unparalleled beauty. 3. While with admiration, the hosts contemplated the beauties of that creation, they were surprised to recognize on the new planet the Garden of Eden, place of the divine throne. The Eternal, by the power of his word, had transferred him to the bosom of that special world, where in justice the government of the universe would be confirmed. On that spring day, the breeze gently caressed the green forests and the flowering meadows, flooding the atmosphere with a soft aroma and freshness. Contemplating his work, the Creator happily exclaimed, "Behold, everything is very good." Exuberant, the planet fulfilled another day in its harmonious rotation. The faithful hosts could now better understand the importance of divine light. His absence had obfuscated, on that night, the beauties of Zion. On that new day, the Creator would express his great power, giving the earth luminaries that would fill it with light and heat. For those luminaries would remain forever as symbols of the spiritual presence of the Eternal, which is the source of all light. Contemplating the dark and empty space that extended around the earth, with a powerful voice he ordered, "Let there be luminaries in the expansion of the heavens, so that there is separation between day and night. Be they by signs and fear certain times, to days and years. And be for luminaries in the expansion of the heavens to light the earth." Immediately the space became radiant due to the brightness of the sun and the reflection of the planets and satellites. Before this demonstration of power, the faithful hosts knelt in reverent worship. On the fourth day, the Eternal created the worlds of our solar system not to be inhabited like the earth, but for the balance of the system. 5. They also filled the sky with glare, softening the darkness of earthly nights. Turning his eyes to the ground, the hosts were glad to see her radiant in colors. Very close to it, you could see the moon that, with its silver reflection, would scare away the deep night shadows. Wrapped up by that enchanting scenario, the children of light, rejoicing, greeted the dawn of the fifth day, which would be of many surprises. The Eternal would turn the festive land by the presence of countless species of irrational animals that would inhabit the entire surface of the planet. That creation would have continuity on the sixth day. 6. Raising the mighty hands, the Creator, looking first at the crystal-clear waters, ordered, "Produce the abundantly reptilian waters of the living soul." Immediately, the waters became undulating by the presence of countless species of reptiles that, happy and grateful, celebrated the existence in a continuous swim and jump. From microscopic beings to great whales, all appeared in complete harmony, reflecting in their nature the love of the Creator. Putting his eyes on the indigo atmosphere that rested on the green forests, the Eternal continued, "Birds fly over the face of the expansion of the heavens." Through his order, the heavens were filled with colorful birds that, flying in all directions, had in their hearts a song of gratitude for life. This song filled the air, mixing with the perfume of flowering bushes. Rejoicing, the faithful hosts witnessed the dawn of the sixth day. And what would God create on that new day? 7. Contemplating with pleasure his earthly creatures, the Eternal blessed them by saying, "Fructify and multiply, and henchid the waters in the seas, and the birds multiply on the earth." This question reigned in the minds of all rational beings. They were sure that something very special was about to happen. Raising the mighty arms, the Eternal ordered, "Produce the living soul earth according to its species, cattle, reptiles, and wild beasts of the earth, according to its species." His powerful voice was quickly heard, and in the woods and fields, the result of his creative power could be seen. 8 animals of all species woke up to a happy existence in the middle of a paradise of perfect peace. The land became extremely beautiful, which Princess adorned to receive its king and lord. Who would that special being be? Moving with majesty, the Eternal came down to the glories of the new world, heading to the Garden of Eden, place of the divine throne. The angels of the light accompanied him reverently, stopping like clouds over the skies of paradise. The entire universe watched with deep interest the development of the acts of the Creator in response to the accusations of his enemies. 9. The moment was decisive. Everything indicated that the Eternal would prove not to be tyrant or selfish, crowning someone on Mount Zion. Satan and his followers did not doubt that the kingdom would be given to them, and they would reign victorious in the bosom of that ancient abyss, where darkness and light were now intertwined. The subjects of the light shuddered at that perspective. Next to the source of the river of life, he Eternal knelt solemnly and, with the natural elements of the earth, began to mold, with much love, a special creature. After a few moments, the body, still lifeless, of the first man was extended before the Creator. The Eternal looked at him, and after stroking his cold, discolored face, he breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and the man began to live. 10. As if waking up from a dream, the man opened his eyes and contemplated the sweet face of his Creator, who, smiling, kissed his face now colorful and full of life. He was moved to hear the Eternal say in a soft and affectionate voice, "My son, my dear son." Because he was born on earth, the first man received the name of Adam. Taking him by the hand, the Eternal lifted him. Without perceiving the scene of glare that surrounded him, Adam, in a gesture of gratitude for existence, enveloped the Creator in a tender embrace, prostrating himself in reverent worship. The faithful hosts who admired witnessed the great divine fulfillment, excited at the human gesture, also prostrated themselves in reverent worship. 11. Then they united the voices in a song of joy in salutation to that special creature, who woke up to life at such a decisive moment for the universe. With a heart full of happiness, Adam joined the angels in his song of praise. His voice, as it passed through the flowery surroundings, was mixed with the song of the birds and the death of the animals that approached festively. In a walk of unforgettable surprises, Adam was made aware of the beauties of his home. With admiration, he saw Mount Zion, where the river of life flowed in a cascade of light. The glorious mountain lay crowned by a beautiful rainbow. In his steps, he followed the course of the crystalline river, which glided serenely amidst the wonders of Eden. Adam admired the tall trees that, soaked by the breeze, left abundant flowers and fruits hanging from the branches. He leaned here and there, attracted by the glow of precious stones that adorned the lawn everywhere. With intense joy, Adam was aware of the infinite species of animals that populated the garden. All were meek and submissive, and lived in perfect harmony and happiness. Stopping in his footsteps, Adam admired the whiteness and tenderness of an animal that was jumping on the grass. Approaching, he took it in his arms, dedicating a special affection. Well, it was nice to stroke her white wool. His sweet eyes reflected a glow of love and humility. There was something special about that little animal. Affectionately, Adam called him Lamb. 13. With the little animal in his arms, Adam looked grateful toward the Eternal and worshipped him. Contemplating his white robes, his expressive eyes of an unparalleled love, Adam discovered that he had in his arms a symbol of his author. Happy, he exclaimed, "O Lord, this little lamb clad in such white wool, with an expressive look of so much love, looks like you. I want to have him always with me." Watching the animals, Adam perceived that they enjoyed a special fellowship. "I saw happy couples everywhere living for each other." His thoughts turned to his companion. He looked around and was surprised not to see him. The Eternal had concealed himself on purpose, becoming invisible. 14. Adam felt lonely in the midst of that paradise. With whom would you share your happiness and love? There were animals there, but they were irrational, unable to share their ideals. He was born in his heart, walking alone in that sunset, a burning desire to find someone who could always be by his side.
While Adam looked toward the distant hills in the hope of seeing someone, the Eternal appeared at his side and said, "It is not good for the man to be alone. I will make him a companion." Adam was happy to hear from the Creator that promise, just at the moment when he so longed to have someone so that he would always be visible at his side. Taken by a deep sleep, Adam leaned back in the chest of his loving Creator, who, with caresses, made him numb. In his subconscious, the first colorful dreams arose. Contemplate the Eternal's tender gaze. He hears the harmonious sound of angelic music, discovers the wonders around. Mount Zion with its rainbow, the river of life, the meadows in bloom, the animals that greeted him at the party. The scenes that surrounded him in his longing are repeated in his dream. He looks around in the hope of finding his partner, but he doesn't see him. He feels lonely in his dream, and that makes him look for someone with whom to share his existence. His gaze stretches through greening countryside, seeing in the distance flowery hills. While walking, hopefully feel the gentle breeze gently stroke her hair. Talk to the breeze. Breeze, you seem to be who I am looking for so much. You caress my hair, you kiss my face. You have the perfume of green bushes. If I could see your face, I would kiss it. If I could touch your hair, make long braids and decorate them with the flowers of our garden. After walking in the dream through the meadows of paradise, Adam stopped while contemplating the surrounding landscape. He admired not seeing the effect of the breeze on the flowering branches, but how if he felt it warmly on his face? Then he began to wake up from his dream. Still with his eyes closed, he remembered the moment when, sleepy, he lay on the Eternal's chest. Would the breeze be the touch of his hands? With this question, he opened his eyes and was excited to see a pretty woman who, with scented hands, caressed his face with love. It was the breeze of his dream, the promise of a Creator who just wanted to make him happy. Now Adam was complete, for he had Eve, who was flesh of his flesh and bones of his bones. Taking her by the hand, Adam invited her for a walk of unforgettable surprises. He would show his companion the beauties of his home. Sensitized, Eva stopped at every step, attracted by the flowers that exhaled soft perfumes, for the birds that sang happy songs, for the animals that followed them submissive, by the vegetation of rich nuances, through the crystalline waters of the river of life that flowed cascade from Mount Zion. Everything in paradise was perfect and beautiful, but nothing equaled the human being, created in the image of God. They turned to each other in admiration and caresses. Soaked by that love, they remained until sunset. With delight, the young couple began to contemplate the setting sun that, through pink rays, colored the sky in a beautiful tree. It was the sixth day that came to an end, giving rise to the hours of a special day, Saturday. That day, in its meaning, would be solemn for all subjects of the Eternal, for its dawn would bring victory to the kingdom of light. The sun, which on the sixth day had brightened nature with its brightness and heat, was hidden, leaving it in cold shadows. The cheerful birds, silencing their trills, looked for their nests, while the other animals were collected. Only the couple remained motionless, trying to see, in the last flash that went out on the horizon, the hope of a new dawn. They investigated the sense of darkness when, among the bushes, they saw a beautiful place whose silver rays bathed the nature in soft luminosity. The whole sky was illuminated by the glow of the stars. Admired, they discovered that the night was only darkness when they looked down. Adam and Eve, in their innocence, did not know that that night symbolized the bleak future of humanity. When they understood it, they would be comforted to contemplate the brightness of the heavens. The place would speak of hope, and the twinkling stars would attest to the interest of the hosts of light in clearing their moral darkness, giving encouragement to sinners. But only those who, diverting their eyes from the earth, contemplated the high heavens would be enlightened. After contemplating the sky for some time in its luminosity, the couple remembered the beauties of paradise, turned their eyes, seeking to see them. They were, however, hidden in the middle of the shadows. How much they wished for dawn, for only he would bring paradise. Before the longing of the human heart, the Eternal appeared in the midst of darkness, returning to the couple the joy of meeting again in a colorful garden. Bathed in soft light, they were now walking through green and flowery meadows. The brightness of the Creator woke up the nature where they passed, coloring and brightening everything around. The couple, admired, learned that next to the Eternal, they could have a paradise in the middle of the night. Feeling sleepy, Adam and Eve lay on the lap of the loving Father, who made them fall asleep sweetly, hopeful in a happy awakening. Leaving them on the soft grass, the Eternal rose to the side of the contemplative hosts. He would manifest again at dawn, waking the couple for the most solemn event, which would reduce to dust the most vile accusations of the enemies. The dark and cold night, through its long hours, seemed to mock the light. Would you forever obfuscate the beauties of creation? Oh, never. The sun would not recede in the face of darkness. He would appear shortly as a liberator, snatching with his warm rays the nature of the cold claws, giving him life and color. In a final challenge, darkness became dense in the hours before dawn. The night lashed out his forces to fight for usurped rule. Finally, a flash appeared in the east that seemed to speak of hope in a new day. The sky gradually became colorful of a reddish alive. The helpless darkness withdrew from the rising force of light and was consumed in its escape. Nature began to wake up from the long night, reflecting in its bosom the nostalgic rays. Flowers would open, exhaling perfumes of joy. Animals and birds silenced at night, joined the voices in a triumphant chant in salutation at the dawn of that great day. The black night had come to an end, giving rise to the daylight dreamed. It was a special meaning for God because it foreshadowed the final victory of his kingdom over the dominion of rebellion. The Eternal would now wake up his human children who, bathed in the light of his presence, had slept in the hope of a happy dawn. In a festive march, all the holy hosts, with songs of victory, accompanied him to the paradise bathed in light. When they were close, the Creator stopped staring at the sleeping couple and exclaimed softly, "Wake up, my children." His voice entered Adam and Eve's ears, waking them up for the happiest communion. How quickly he scratched the long-awaited morning, bringing in his light the sweet paradise, lost in that night. With joy, the couple greeted their divine Creator, joining the angels in triumphant antiphons. The universe lived a truly solemn moment. On that festive morning, the Eternal was to reveal the greatness of his character, which is justice and love. The accusations that his government was selfish and tyranny would be refuted. In the eyes of all the rational creatures of the vast universe, God led the young couple to Mount Zion, place of the divine throne. There, before the shudder of the muted hosts, the Creator, in a surprising gesture, covered the man with the royal robe, placing on his head the crown that had been coveted by Lucifer. Moved by deep gratitude for the supreme honor conferred, Adam and Eve bowed reverently, placing their precious crown at the feet of the Creator, in sign of submission. A cry of victory followed that human gesture that shook the entire creation. The children of the light, who for so long had suffered insults and humiliations in the face of the constant accusations, praised the blessed God, who in his work of justice denied the enemies, revealing his character of humility, detachment, and love. Having constituted man as the Lord of all creation, the Eternal, with a solemn voice, began to make him aware of the greatness of his mission. As a faithful steward, you should take care of paradise, keeping the source of the river of life clean. The laws of justice and love, foundations of the kingdom of light, should be honored. As a rational scepter, it would be up to man, in a gesture of recognition and gratitude, to freely accept the government of the one who created it. The hosts, who marveled, witnessed the revelation of divine detachment, understood that the Lord of Light would no longer rule the universe, except with human consent. Man, by the will of the Eternal, was made the arbiter of creation. In his glorious being, made in the image of the Creator, the seal of eternal dominion shone. After revealing to the couple the infinite honor and responsibility of their mission, the Creator made them aware of the spiritual conflict that was working for the conquest of universal dominion. Lucifer, who for countless ages had served the divine king in Zion, had been corrupted by pride and selfishness. Being followed by a third of the rational hosts, They sought now to dethrone the Eternal, dishonoring him with vile accusations. Having revealed to the human being the painful situation in which the universe was, the Eternal, in a solemn gesture, showed them 2 tall trees that, loaded with great fruits, rose on both banks of the river that was born from the throne. To the one who rose to the right, the Lord revealed to be the tree of life, monument of the kingdom of light. To the one who stood on the other shore, he revealed himself to be the tree of the science of good and evil, a symbol of rebellion. Eating the fruit of the tree of life, man would manifest his submission to the Creator, which is the source of life and light. To eat from the other tree would be to give the enemy the dominion of Zion. The inevitable result of that step would be eternal death, not only for the human being, but for all creation, which would be reduced to chaos under the fury of rebellion. After contemplating the 2 tall trees, which externalized in their fruits such infinite responsibility, Adam prostrated himself before the Creator, saying, "You are worthy, Lord, to reign over the universe, because by your wisdom, love, and power, all things were created, and they subsist." On Saturday, emblem of divine triumph, swelled with praise, all the children of the light joined the human being in the most harmonious song. It was with horror that Satan and his followers witnessed the great realization of the Eternal. They witnessed with bitterness the joy of the faithful before the coronation of man, an event that threw down the strong accusations they had raised against the divine government. Full of anger and frustration, they now considered his sad condition. How terrible and humiliating was the thought of seeing their plans of rebellion vanish before the Creator, similar to the shadows of that night. If they could, they thought, they would fill the Sabbath with darkness, erasing any hope of victory from the minds of the subjects of the Eternal. Finally, in their considerations, Satan and his leaders understood that they had an opportunity. In the middle of the Garden of Eden, on the heights of Zion, the tree of the science of good and evil was rising next to the river of life. A human gesture would be enough, nothing more, and they would have under their power forever the coveted domain. But how to seduce him? Encouraged by the prospect of a conquest, Satan sought ingeniously to formulate a boarding plan. He knew that if he failed in his attempt, all hopes of triumph would have dissolved, dreams of adventure crumbling. He concluded that deception was to be his powerful weapon. Was it not through him that he managed to dominate 1/3 of the heavenly hosts? He would wait, therefore, for an auspicious moment to arm his ambush.